Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Signs from Pets in the Afterlife. Identifying Messages from Pets in Heaven by Lyn Ragan. Narrated by Amy Melissa Bentley. Introduction. Until one has loved an animal, a part of one's soul remains unawakened. Anatole, France. People often ask if our departed animals know where we are, or if they can find us if we move. The answer is yes to both. Just like our human loved ones who have passed, our pets in spirit know all, see all, and hear all. They are always with us, but now they're in a different form, their spirit body. For many of us, our pets are our children and have become a very important part of our families. They ask for nothing from us, yet they somehow present us with the type of love that can only be described as unconditional. From the perspective of a pet parent, losing a beloved companion is no different than losing a human child. In some instances, it can even be more difficult because the guardian is the primary caregiver and a pet child relies solely upon them for everything it needs. Added to that, our society doesn't recognize pets as equals to human children. Therefore, the loss of a pet will not be treated with the same kind of compassion or empathy as a human loss. The grief cycle begins with very little help from family or friends. When our pets transition to the other side, they are linked to us through the love that we share with them. Love is a very powerful energy that bonds humans and animals. Whether our pets are here on Earth or in another dimension, the energy of love cannot be broken, ever. What signs can I look for from my deceased pet? This is a question many of us ask ourselves. Much like the communications we receive from loved ones who have passed, our pets, too, can connect with us through signs and messages. Our animals will connect in many of the same ways they did while they were in their physical bodies, through dreams, signs, symbols, and physical or non-physical touch. Their desire to communicate with us is no different from that of our human loved ones on the other side. Our pets and loved ones really do want us to know they are okay, safe, and happy. Without question, they want us to know how much we are loved from the afterworld. The most important key to receiving and acknowledging a gift from your pet in spirit is to have an open mind and a very open heart. There are no rules when it comes to what signs are shared from the other side. If you can think it, so can they. If you can imagine it, so can they. Our fur kids are uninhibited by a physical body and can be in many places at the same time. A part of them is always with us and can see everything we do and hear everything we say. As they watch us grow in our spiritual enlightenment and see us learning more about their new life on the other side, they are all too happy to help us to identify their gifts from the afterworld. For example, if they're sitting beside you when you discover that the butterfly symbolizes their new transition, they may very well send one to cross your path the next time you are paying attention. If we get excited about studying their new language, signs and messages, aka spirit language, they are over the moon thrilled too. This process is recognized as a graduation. They teach from the other side, and we learn from the earthly plane. Since we are human, oftentimes, all we want is that one big sign that slaps us in the face. That one huge message that says, "Hey, I'm right here." However, when we think we don't get it, we tend to believe our pets and loved ones have left us for good. That is so far from the truth. As with any relationship we share here on Earth, It also takes great effort and dedication to continue our connections with our pets in spirit. They can't possibly do all of the work, and frankly, we're kidding ourselves if we think they should. It takes two, spirit and you. Retraining our minds requires effort and a lot of practice, but it can pay us back with priceless dividends. If you've never experienced the wonder and the mystery of receiving miraculous signs and signals from the spiritual realm, please consider giving it a try. All you need is a heightened sense of awareness and an increased consciousness. Messages from your loyal companions can potentially be life-changing when they are identified. Most often, they are subtle signs, but even the slightest ones are communications that can speak the loudest. Any sign or signal from the spiritual realm is an important one, and each has a very specific purpose designated for the individual recipient. Sometimes the signs appear to comfort us in times of sadness and deep grief. In other circumstances, they are guideposts or traffic lights to direct us along our life path. Either way, it is our divine right to accept the gifts from our spirit family, and this does include our adoring pets, too. It truly is a skill that any of us can develop. It does not require us to be psychic or to have mediumistic abilities, although we were all born with these very gifts. All we need is a bit of faith and a lot of trust in our much-loved pets. We already love them completely, so trusting them in their pure, unadulterated spirit form should be effortless. So, what signs do we look for? The best way to notice them is to become aware that they exist. It certainly can't hurt to observe the small wonders that are happening around you every day. For example, on your drive to work one day you see a raccoon on the side of the road. Did you know a raccoon can deliver a spiritual message? The raccoon reminds us to look at the whole picture, the seen and the unseen. Not only that, if that raccoon grabbed your attention from out of nowhere, this could be a sign from your pet in heaven saying, "It's me. I'm right here with you." Because symbolic signs are unique and very individual, they may not always be easily recognized or immediately understood. From birds, animals, people, places, things, or events, symbolic signs are presented in many forms and are quite simply the messenger of spirit. Many look at afterlife signs as proof of a hereafter. However, what constitutes proof? Evidence of an afterlife is a very personal matter. What is undeniable validation for one person may carry no weight for another. Proof must come from within. Yet proof can often appear upon the hands of knowledge. Moreover, knowledge is something we all seek to find. When I decided to write this book with pets in mind, I had to appreciate that many of the signs we recognize from our loved ones on the other side are exactly the same as those from our beloved pets. The information shared here is based solely on my education and personal experiences with my special ones in the afterlife. My intention is not to persuade you to believe what I have come to know as my personal truths. Rather, I wish only to share the possibilities to help assist you in your journey in identifying signs from your pets in spirit. The list of afterlife signs is truly endless and is not limited to the few discussed in this book. Those that are documented are the more popular ones that thousands of people enjoy, recognize, and acknowledge. Because they are often seen and documented, our pets in spirit know this all too well. They will conspire to use any tool they can to capture our attention. As our relationships continue to grow with our departed pets, the signs they share will also change form as we educate ourselves. It is important for us to keep our expectations simple Our signs will show up in ways that complement our lifestyle. Please remember there is no one sign that fits all scenarios, and there are no rules for how they appear. The message is always clear and direct, though. I love you. And no sign or message is ever intended to frighten or mislead you. Always try to remember that fear is an emotion, and one that Hollywood has perfected tapping into. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. FDR. It is important for us to show our gratitude to our pets in heaven. We need to be thankful for every sign or message we receive, and express that thanks verbally or from within. Our adored pets know all, see all, and hear all now. So saying thank you is one of the easiest things we can do. When we die, we simply move from this world directly into the next one. The only thing we lose is our physical vessel, our bodies. Our personality and the love we carry for those we left behind stays with us. In spirit, we literally have the best of both worlds. This dimension and the spirit world. Do we hold our pets or loved ones back by continuing our relationships through signs and messages? Absolutely not. Our human minds have no way to digest or wrap around the depth of the life in spirit. Their strength, agility, and power are greater than anything we can possibly imagine. In energy form, aka spirit form, they can be, and are, in more than one place at the same time. They can be here with us at the very same moment they are working, playing, or even visiting another loved one. So no, we can never, ever hold them back. Lastly, the bottom line is that our spirit family and our pets really do want us to know they are okay. In addition, they want us to be okay too. Their biggest wish is for their family and friends on Earth to live a happy and joyful life. Knowing our relationships can continue past this physical life is a very big blessing and a wonderful gift as well. Everything may happen for a reason, but sometimes a change in perspective can help us to see what we have gained, not what we've lost. Part 1. Sensing our pets in spirit. 1. Bedroom visitations. There are no mistakes, no coincidences. All events are blessings given to us to learn from. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Despite the fact that sensing a deceased pet is a common experience, it is seldom talked about. Like grief, it's more comfortable for most to deny it rather than to speak about it. Even reality is no match for love. Sensing a deceased pet is a true spiritual gift. There are all sorts of visions and images that can occur along our divine journeys. Some people see future events, some hear voices in their head, and others will encounter lights or images of special forms. The most common type of contact from a deceased pet is sensing their presence, especially in the bedroom. Have you ever been lying in bed, waking up or falling asleep, when you felt movement next to you? As soon as you opened your eyes to see who it was, though, you were left with nothing but wonderment or sudden confusion. You might have thought, did I just make that up? Did I really feel my sweet pet hop on the bed? Whether they are seen in apparitions or in dreams, or not at all, our beloved pets continue to live in our hearts and minds. For some, however, they continue to linger in our senses through sight, sound, smell, touch, and indeed, physical presence. For many, it's quite clear. Our pets stay with us. Sensing the presence of a deceased pet is a very normal occurrence, but it is rarely discussed. Fearing being labeled crazy or possibly considered insane, most who experience this phenomenon will hold it close like a treasured secret, instead of sharing it aloud. Feeling the existence of the afterlife is more the norm rather than the exception. Studies have shown that over 80% of us have experienced visions of departed loved ones and/or pets within 1 month after their death. Almost half reported interacting with them. It is quite common for us to feel our deceased pet jump up on, walk across, or even lie down on the bed. Our human eyes may not see them anywhere, yet we know for certain we felt the depression of the mattress. Without a doubt, it felt no different than when they were here in their physical form. Much like what Marley experienced only hours after her dog passed away. When I was 12 years old, my dog, Candy, got run over. She lived at our farm and had never been inside our house, let alone my bedroom. The night she died, she came into my room and stood on her back paws with the front one on my bed. She told me she was okay, and she thanked me for taking her in when she was a puppy and being her friend. She said she would miss me, and then turned and left the room. I remember it being a dream back then, but the more I'm involved in the paranormal, I realize she was really coming to thank me. What a moment. Marley B., Savannah, Georgia. It is normal to feel our pet sitting or lying in the bed beside us. Our fur kids have the ability to manifest the sense of their physical contact without actually touching us, hence feeling the movement of the mattress. Many people might discount the occurrence, thinking they've imagined it, or somehow made it up. Yet it is a distinct feeling and a complete knowing unlike any other, when spirit is near. We might also see an apparition, a colored light, an outline of their body, a transparent mist, or we may see nothing at all. Yet the feeling that a much-loved pet is close, even ones you think you don't know, is and always will be very real. Much like what Ricky experienced when she was awakened in the middle of the night by movement. I was sleeping in the spare room since my husband was sick with a cold and flu. I was in a deep sleep when all of a sudden, I felt something jump onto the foot of my bed. That startled me awake. I laid there for a while and then looked over at the clock. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. The blanket by my feet started moving, and it felt like little feet were walking around. I could feel the blanket being pressed in, almost like a cat would do. I thought, darn, that feels like a cat. Wait, we don't have a cat. After getting up and going to the bathroom, I snuggled back in after seeing there was no cat on the bed. Once again, something really small and lightweight started walking around, on top of the blanket at my feet. I started pinching myself to make sure I was awake. I was very puzzled and wondered what was going on. A few minutes later, the cat moved around more, trying to find the right spot to snuggle up. It finally curled up right by my foot. There was nothing I could do but accept that a cat was with me in my bed. Ricky F., Jacksonville, Florida. Some of us will feel goosebumps when our pets are next to us. When spirit touches us, it can feel as real as physical contact. Sometimes they enjoy running their energy through our hair, and when this happens, it feels like little bugs crawling around on top of our head. Many experience ringing in their ears. Audible or verbal communication may take place as well, but we must keep in mind that every experience is different. As unique as our DNA is, so too are the communications from the afterworld. No two people will experience the same thing. Take Teresa, for example. She was surprised to feel her cat so close to home after she passed. For 16.5 years, Furball was a pleasure to be around. It is a delight to know she is never far away. I still feel her walking around on my bed in the mornings. Love is the bridge that keeps her in my heart so fondly. Teresa C., Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Our pets allow us to feel their presence in order to teach us and validate for us that physical death is not the end of who we are. They also teach us that it is possible to continue to build our relationships. Much like Janet's experience. When her fur baby passed away, she never imagined he could share his presence in such a memorable way. Cooper had a brain tumor and had to be put down last July. I was devastated and cried for days and days. He was my constant companion and went everywhere with me. He slept with me, was always near, and even barked at me when he thought I should go to bed at night. One evening, lying in my bed, I was talking to him, crying and missing him so much. I felt him jump on the bed, and I felt him walk toward me. The mattress actually moved. Then I smelled him and instantly knew he was there. It brought a sense of peace over me that words can't begin to describe. Janet M., Lafayette, Indiana. Our pets share with us that the love we hold dear and close does go with them to the other side. Through signs, messages, and sensing their presence, they let us know their love for us continues. A perfect example of this love came when Helen least expected it. Max, my handsome Rottweiler, lived a long and happy life. His spirit had always been remarkably joyful, but his 16-year-old body couldn't keep up. I missed him terribly, yet I knew he had to be healthy and happy where he was. Max's love for me was larger than life. He was in a league all his own. A few weeks after his passing, I decided to nap one afternoon. Max's brother, Troy, was fast asleep beside me. 30 minutes or so later, I felt Troy stand up on the bed, walk across my legs, and jump down to the floor. I wasn't ready to get up, so I hollered at him, "Troy, get your butt back in bed." I listened to his name tag dangle against his collar while he left the bedroom and then headed down the hallway. Refusing to open my eyes, I shouted at him to get back in bed. But now I was wide awake and a tad irritated too. I propped up on my elbows, and when I did, Troy lifted his head from the bed and gave me a look like I had lost my mind. It took me a minute to realize we weren't alone. That wasn't Troy who jumped off the bed. It was Max. What a wonderful comfort knowing he's still here and still resting in bed with me and his brother. Helen B., Tucson, Arizona. Another beautiful example of continued love from the other side came when Judy heard from her deceased cats. Eddie was 13 years old when he passed in 2003. His favorite spot in the house was in our bed and between our heads. He would lie there peacefully and purr up a storm. We always told him, "Purr us to sleep, Eddie." After he passed, I would wake up in the middle of the night because I could hear his loud purr or his noisy meow. We had no other cats in the house. I knew Eddie was letting me know he was still with me. A few months after Eddie's death, we welcomed a new cat named Ginger. She became our pampered princess. 4 years later, Ginger became very ill, and we lost her too. The last few months of her life, I had to keep her in a crate at night beside my bed for her safety. She got very tired of the crate and would pull on the lock all night long. It made a very loud, clanking noise. After Ginger passed, we put everything away. Yet every night thereafter, I would still hear Ginger beside my bed pulling on the door of her crate. Clank, clank, clank. Her presence was very strong. Judy S., Orlando, Florida. Sensing our pets or feeling their presence is solid assurance of an endless love. The kind of love that can only be measured with infinite divinity. 2. A soul's love. The soul is the same in all living creatures, although the body of each is different. Hippocrates. Have you ever felt a gentle paw rest upon your shoulder, but when you turned to inspect, nothing was there? Maybe you felt the rub of a cat across your leg, but when you looked down, there was no cat to be seen? You didn't make this up, and no, you are not crazy. Each one of us experiences a unique sensation when a deceased pet is present. In the days following their passing, it is quite normal to feel a brush against your leg, to sense your hand being nudged, to experience a gentle touch, to hear them walking or running through the house, or to get a tingle on the top of your head, their energy running through your hair. The presence of our deceased pets often feels very comforting and peaceful. For many, this is the very reason their presence is dismissed, because it feels too good. In addition, for others, the focus is on how scary it is, which causes the connection to be missed, broken, or misinterpreted. Feeling the caress of spirit right after their passing is common, yes. But what many don't realize is that our pets keep visiting long after their death, for years in fact. They show us their continued survival in many forms, and sensing them still near is a strong reminder of how close they are. Their deepest wish is to console our grief and bestow upon us the most valuable knowledge of all, that life continues past death, and love lives forever. Regina learned this the hard way after a most rewarding experience. Andy, my 15-year-old Yorkshire Terrier, passed away 2 years ago of lung complications. 4 months later, my husband died. If it weren't for Coco, my then 13-year-old Chihuahua, I don't know what I would have done. One afternoon, I thought I had lost Coco after an hour-long search for her. I started to lose my mind. I stood in my kitchen and cried when I heard the front door open and close. I peeked around the corner to see who it could be, but there was no one there. From out of nowhere, I heard the faint sound of a tag dangling against the metal of a collar. It sounded exactly like Andy's collar, and in that moment, I also felt something brush against my legs. I then heard the tapping of little feet walking into the breakfast room, and in shock, I followed the sound as it led me to a closet where I kept dog food and treats. When I approached the sliding door, a faint bark could be heard, and right away, I knew it was my darling, Andy. I opened the door, and sitting there was Coco. In all of my screams and frantic calls for her, she never made a sound. I was never so pleased to see her. Andy's continued love and support from the other side is honestly quite indescribable. Regina B., Shelby, Virginia. We are our pets' heaven, and just because their physical body is no longer alive, it doesn't mean their soul loves us any less. We are loved from beyond, and always will be. 3. Knock, knock, knock. Venture outside your comfort zone. The rewards are worth it. Rapunzel. Some signs are often those that cannot be ignored. Have you found yourself watching the television or talking on the telephone when suddenly you hear knocking on the counter in the kitchen? Maybe your other dog started to bark and ran to the sound excitedly. But once you arrived to explore, there was no
Sample complete. Ready to continue?